and Almighty must give them the wisdom to follow this, but somehow
Yeah, that'll have an effect. That'll have an effect. Gauravani, who was born into the Krishna consciousness movement, now you probably heard of him because he's famous for doing kirtan, for doing bhajan. Have you heard of Gauravani? What's the name of his band? Kindred Spirits. They play everywhere. Anyway, he's an initiated devotee now, and he was born in the movement. His parents, Bharat Raj and Rukmini. And after some time of growing up, mandatorily, because he was a child in their family of, following Krishna consciousness, then he went away. A lot of teenagers just go the other way. That's what they do. And then his mother prayed for him constantly. Please let him come back to Krishna consciousness. There was some really big event where he was present. And he got up and he honored his mother, because he said, even though I went so far away from Krishna consciousness, no interest in fact, went the opposite direction as far as I could, because of my mother's prayers, I came back and became situated in Krishna consciousness. So he was saying, basically, never underestimate the power of a mother's prayer. However, you can't make somebody else become Krishna conscious unless they want to. A man convinced against his will is of the same opinion still. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. And you can lead a man to wisdom, but you can't make him think. So we look for the willing and bring them along. And the circumstance of family life is such that you don't know what you're going to get. Just because you're connected with somebody as a mother in this lifetime doesn't mean that you're going to get a pure devotee because you're a pure devotee. Even old Prabhupada's children didn't become pure devotees. And so, in the Bhagavatam, there are stories about this repeatedly, about like Maharaj Anga, who was a pure devotee, and his son was the worst person who ever lived. His name was Vena. Actually, his name was Cruel Vena. When he was a child, in his play, he used to throw other kids off cliffs and things like that, as part of the sport, and thought that was a funny thing. And Anga finally gave up his household life and went away out of abject frustration and just said, forget it. It doesn't work. I'm out of here. Now, as far as my own way, someone has their own way. We just follow what Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. That's the standard way. In other words, as far as following a path or understanding, we have to have some standard to follow. If you go to a doctor and you ask, where's your diploma? And, how are you going to do this surgery today? And you say, well, I didn't go to school. I just do it my own way. You'll flee from that place. At least you should. You're going to have some intricate knee surgery repair done, and it's like, how are you going to do the surgery? What's the situation? And it's like, I don't know all about this medicine stuff. I just do my own way. Then I'll go and look for someone who does it according to the standard way, because I'm going to be under anesthesia, and I want to know that somebody's not doing it their own way. So that's not to say, if there's some little faith there, that we can fan that faith, but we should also not think that just because someone does it their own way, that there's, anybody can do it whatever way they want. There is a way. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Manmana bhavamad bhakto. He says, think of me. And now someone may say, well, what does that mean? Well, Krishna is Krishna. You think of Krishna. Like Prabhupada says, in the Gita, Kurukshetra means Kurukshetra. It doesn't mean something else. It's a battlefield. It's actually there. It's still there. It's a holy place, Kurukshetra. So, own way is not accepted in serious spiritual circles. There's Krishna's way, and that's the process, to follow that. Okay? All right. Pardon me?
What's the role of prasadam in a situation like this?
What do you mean?
When you're trying to...
The role of prasadam. Well, prasadam means mercy. And devotees' preoccupation is always looking how to get mercy and give mercy. And prasadam is a kind of mercy, because prasadam, spiritual food, is readily accepted. John Sununu used to be Secretary of State under, was it Ronald Reagan? or the first bush, under the first bush. I met him at the airport once, and I was distributing books and prasadam at the same time. He walked up to me, and before I said anything, he said anything, I handed him a lollipop, and he had it in his mouth before I could even start telling him about the book. And I was thinking, just see the power of prasadam. It goes in way before the philosophy goes in. And so, if you move to a new town in the middle of Iowa and you don't know anybody there and you're a devotee, right? And you're all by yourself. So you go to the bank. And the first day you're at the bank, you walk up and you make your deposit. And then you hand the bank teller a cookie, prasadam cookie, that you offered to Gauri Tai at home. And she takes the cookie and says, "Thank you very much. Wow, it's nice to meet you." And then you come back a week later with another deposit, hopefully. And then you give another cookie. And she, "I remember you. That was a great cookie. Thanks for the cookie." And then the third time you come back and you give another cookie, she's going to say, "Who are you? What are you all about? What do you do?" And then you pull out a book and you say, "Here. I read this book." Or you can start by giving, "Here's a cookbook. We believe in this, that, by giving this spiritual food, and then they're already open. And so wherever you go, we always recommend, for instance, if you're going to be going on Sankirtan to a place on a regular basis, before you start doing your book distribution or whatever you do, go around and saturate the place with prasadam. Go to every store, go to every worker, go to every policeman, everyone on the street, and just say, "Hi, we're giving out prasadam." And in New York City, we used to have in the 70s, there was a program for making luglus, these little devotional sweets. And the devotees distributed tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of them in New York City. And I remember the effect. Wherever we went, people would always ask us for those. Police would pull over their car and go, hey, Krishna, come over here. You got one of those Krishna candy things?" And they want them. And at LaGuardia Airport, I worked at LaGuardia Airport as a book distributor for several years. And there was a very strict permit system out there. And there were several other groups that wanted the limited spots that were in the airport. But we always got the permit, New York style. We had a restaurant there at 340 West 55th in Manhattan. There was one devotee there. She made the most attractive cheesecakes in the world. And so every month before the permit process would take place, I'd be out there and I'd see one devotee coming walking down the hall with these cheesecakes, undercover, and they go to the permit office and hand them off, and then they come back out, and then when we go in, everyone's in line, and they go, "Okay, approved." And like the wink and the nod, and little cheesecake around the stuff. And it happened for years, and no one could figure out why we were getting the permit, nobody else was. And so the insider, Jayananda Prabhu, who was so expert at putting on the Rath Yatras, and everyone loved him all over the Bay Area. He was that kind of person. And after every event that he did, he'd go around to all the people who had helped, and he'd give them a cake, a whole cake. He would just give a cake to this one, a cake. He was always giving prasadam. And therefore, whenever he came for something, they just opened the door. So prasadam, the role of prasadam is profound. We should, carry prasadam with you, give it wherever you go. Just, it lights people up, right? When we were looking for directions the other day, when we were leaving downtown, we just went to the desk, it was a cosmetics desk or something like that in the middle of Macy's. And Jeanette was trying to find her car. And it was like, "Which way do we go?" And she said, "Oh, go this way, that way." And we just handed her a lollipop, and immediately she said, "Whoa!" The reactions that people have. Coming into the airport in Delhi, all these guys standing there with military uniforms at the door, checking all the paperwork, and they have nothing else to do, so they're really meticulous, just so they have something interesting to do to try to hold somebody up for a while, because their life's so boring. So they try to find any discrepancy on your boarding card, But whenever I walk up to the thing, I always have prasadam, and I start giving it out in books. They don't even look at mine. The last time they didn't even look at the thing. I hand in a lollipop, and then a book, and they go, "Oh, Hari Rama, Hari Krishna," and it's like, "What about the boarding pass?" "Just go ahead, So what's the role of prasadam? It's everything. It's Krishna's mercy. So that's what opens all the doors to everyone's heart is the prasadam. So we should give mercy, and we should take as much of mercy as we can ourselves. Which comes to a point. It is time for prasadam. Yes. Last point.
We heard like if you become pure devotee, then your 21 generation up and down both get liberated. So how it happened? Like if you are like if they don't become, and how it and why this has been told in Bhagavatam.
Well, it means that it says in Bhagavatam that when you become a pure devotee, then your relatives in your family, for different generations, they also are given full facility. It means because pure devotees are the most dear to Krishna. He's Bhaktavatsal. And you see in the life of Prahlad Maharaj that on down the line, everyone was given special consideration. Why? Because they were related to Prahlad Maharaj, because he was the greatest devotee. And that included Bali Maharaj. Bali Maharaj got this great benediction from Vamandev after he took everything away from him, and then he Bali finally surrendered himself, and Vamandev became his doorkeeper in Patala Loka to serve him, to serve his devotee. So Sanatana Goswami says in the Brihat Bhagavatamrita, why did this unusual thing happen? And he answers the question, because he comes in the line of Prahlad Maharaj. That's why he got so much mercy. Then comes Banasura. You look at Banasura, he was an out-and-out demon. Of course, there was a whole line of demons. Prahlad came from a bloodline of demons. And Banasura comes way down the line, and Krishna gave him special mercy too. Why? He's related to Prahlad Maharaj. So in spiritual life, it's not what you know, it's who you know and what you are. So in bhakti, we align ourselves with, we work under a devotee. This is we take shelter of a Vaishnav. A Vaishnav is somebody who takes shelter of another Vaishnav. That's the process. And when a Vaishnav's asked, who are you under? You say, yeah, that's who I'm under. I'm working under. That's who I work under. Otherwise, you're not a Vaishnav. So Vaishnavas are the servants of the servants of the servants, and that's Krishna says in the Adi Purana to Arjuna. He said, one who says he's my devotee is not my devotee. One who says he's the devotee of my devotee, that's my devotee. And Prabhupada extends it. He says, one who says, I'm the servant's servant, a million times removed, that person is liberated. That person is actually properly situated. That's the mystery of the Vaishnavism, that the more you're the servant of the servant of the servant, and not directly trying to cut in, then you're actually exalted. So it follows that same principle. It's all personal. It's all about affection that Krishna has. And in the material world, the rule is justice. Everything goes on according to the law of nature. But Krishna intervenes in that. And according to how we get connected, just like anywhere else. If you're connected with somebody, you'll get in. Like when I was in Washington, D.C., I got into the Capitol building and I was taken through all the offices. I went through the, to the Senate and to the what's the other guys called? And the Congress. And they're really a bunch of bozos. No offense. I looked down there and go, how are you guys going to get anything done? But I got in because I knew somebody that worked there. And he had a pass. He just had a pass, and he just brought us in. I went in with a dhoti and everything else, and no one said anything because I was with this devotee who worked in the halls of Congress, and he had all his credentials and everything like that. So that's how you get in, get into the spiritual world. You got to grab onto somebody who's got some credentials, and that means they've grabbed onto somebody who has credentials, servant of the servant of the servant, and then you have some access. Doesn't matter what you know, because as we mentioned, as Brahma mentions, even the greatest yogis and learned jnanis and everything like that, they have no access to the spiritual world. But somebody who's a devotee of the devotee of the devotee, they have access to get in because they're following behind the guy with the credentials. Hare Krishna. We got to end, don't we? Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki jai. Gaur Premanande Haribo. And now we're going to have a Guru Puja. I saw Ramananda Saka Prabhu in here about a half an hour ago, ready to do the Guru Puja. And hopefully if we can get him back, we'll go ahead and worship Srila Prabhupada. Jai! Oh, so it's still up in the air.
January and should.
Sometime in January.
Yeah, sometime in January or first week of February.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
So it's not over yet.
No.
Good to see you. Yeah, I just got last time. $10. I think it's about 10. $7.95. So those of you who don't know the song, let's have the song sheets, please. Hare Krishna. Here are some song sheets, the song we're about to sing. Those of you who would like one, give one to Raina. Give one to Jeanette. Are there more song sheets? It's in the songbook also. So maybe grab a songbook or two. Sharing means caring. Jeanette needs one. There you go. What page? Page 97. Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhakati Shadma Bando Mui Savadana Mate Bando Mui Savadana Mate Jahara Prashare Bhai Bhavato Riyaja Krishna Prapti Hoy Jaha Hoy Te Krishna Prapti Hoy Jaha Hoy Te Guru Mukha Padma Bhakya Chite Te Koriya Ikya Arna Kori Ho Mane Asha Arna Kori Ho Mane Asha Shri Guru Charane Rati Sheu Tamagati Jai Prashare Pure Sarva Asha Jai Prashare Pure Sarva Asha Chakudandilo Jai Janme Janme Prabhu She Chakudandilo Jai Janme Janme Prabhu She Divya Gyan Hire Prokashito Divya Gyan Hire Prokashito Prema Bhakti Ja Hoite Abidya Vinasa Jate Prema Bhakti Ja Hoite Abidya Vinasa Jate Vede Gai Jahara Charito Vede Gai Jahara Charito Karuna Sindhu Adama Janara Bandhu Shri Guru Karuna Sindhu Adama Janara Bandhu Lokana Lokera Jivana Lokana Lokera Jivana Ha ha Prabhu Kora Doya Deha Mure Pada Chaya Ha ha Prabhu Kora Doya Deha Mure Pada Chaya Ei bejas kushik tribhuvana Ei bejas kushik tribhuvana Ha ha Prabhu Kora Doya Deha Mure Pada Chaya Ha ha Prabhu Kora Doya Deha Mure Pada Chaya Prabhupada Patita Pavana Prabhupada Patita Pavana Ha ha Prabhu Kora Doya Deha Mure Pada Chaya Dui poi vi loi lo sharana Dui poi loi lo sharana Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Shraminiti Namine Nama Om Vishnu Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatcharishatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Kali kukur kadan jari chao hai Kali juga pavana kuli boy nashana Shri Sachinandana gao hey Gadadhar Madhan Nitaya Pranadhan Advaita Prapujita Gaura Nimari Vishrambar Srinivasishwar Bhakta Samuha Chitta Chora Nariya Shashadar Maya Purishwar Nam Pravartana Sura Grihijana Shikshaka Nyasikula Nayaka Madhavarara Bhava Pura Sarvabhauma Shodana Gajapati Tharana Ramananda Poshana Vira Rupananda Vardana Shanakana Palana Haridas Modana Dhira Brajarash Bhavanda Drishna Mata Shatanda Kapati Vighatana Kama Shuddha Bhakta Palana Shuksha Jnana Tarana Chala Bhakti Dushana Rama Kali kukur kadan jari chao hai Kali Juga Pavana Koli Bhaya Nashana Shri Sachinandana Gao Hai Hare Haraya Nama Krishna Yadavaya Nama Jadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namah Gopal Govinda Ram Sri Madhusudan Giridhari Gopinath Madan Mohan Chaitanya Nityananda Sri Advaita Sita Hari Guru Vaishnava Bhagavata Gita Shri Rup Shri Sanatan Bhatta Raguna Shri Jiva Gopal Bhatta Das Raguna Hey Chai Gosai Kori Charana Vanda Jaha Hoite Vignanash Abhishta Puran Hey Chai Gosai Jar Muitada Tansavara Pararinu Mora Panchagra Kandera Charana Sheve Bhakta Shaniba Janame Hoye Abila Hey Chai Gosai Jabe Braje Kolaba Radha Krishna Nitya Lila Koila Praka Shri Shri Radha Krishna Nitya Lila Koila Praka Bolo Anande Bolo Hari Bhaja Vrindavan Bolo Anande Bolo Hari Bhaja Vrindavan Hey Bhaja Vrindavan Bhaja Vrindavan Bhaja Vrindavan Bhaja Vrindavan Bolo Anande Bolo Hari Bhaja Vrindavan Shri Guru Vaishnava Pade Mojami Aman Shri Guru Vaishnava Pada Pada Bakoriya Hari Nam Sankirtan Kohe Narotamoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Bhajare, hey, Bhaja Govinda Gopala Hare. Bhajare, hey, Bhaja Govinda Gopala Hare. Radhe Govinda, oh Radhe Govinda, Radhe Gopala, oh Radhe Gopala. Bhajare, hey, Bhaja Govinda Gopala Hare. Hey, Radhe Govinda, Radhe Gopala, Radha Bank Bihari, Radha Shama Sundar, oh Radha Shama Sundar, Radha Gokulananda, Radha Mohana, Radha Gopala, Radha Gopala, Radha Madhava, Radha Madhava, Radha Sham Sundar, Radha Shama Sundar, Radha Radha Kanta, Radha Kanta, Radha Madan Mohan, Radha Madan Mohan, Radha Kalachandji, Radha Ras Bihari, oh Radha Ras Bihari, Radha Vrindavan Chandra, oh Radha Vrindavan Chandra, Radha Ramana, Radha Ramana, Radha Damadara, oh Radha Damodara,
Radha Gopinatha,
Radha Gopinatha,
Radha Madan Mohan, Radha Giridhari,
Radha Giridhari,
Radha Govinda,
oh Radha Govinda, Radha Govinda,
Kishore Kishore,
Kishore Kishore, Bhajare, hey, Bhaja Govinda Gopala Hare. ऐसे श्री भगवान को मेरे बारंबार प्रणाम है, बारंबार प्रणाम है। ऐसे श्री ज्ञान श्याम को मेरे बारंबार प्रणाम है, मेरे बारंबार प्रणाम है। गो प्रेमानंदे निताई गौरा हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि बोल, गौर हरि बोल। निताई गौर हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि बोल, गौर हरि बोल। जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राज कचार्य अष्टोत्तर श्रीमाद भाई चरणारविंद भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी महाराज श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राज कचार्य अष्टोत्तर श्रीमाद श्रील भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी महाराज की। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव ही नामाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद की। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोविंद श्याम कुंद राधा कुंद गिरि गोवर्धन की। श्री वृंदावन धाम की। Shri Maya Purnavadiptam ki, Tulsi Devi Bhakti Devi ki, Jamuna Devi Ganga Devi ki, Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki. All glories to assemble devotees. All glories to assemble devotees. All glories to assemble devotees. Go Premanande Haribo. So, today is the eve of the new calendar year, and it's a good idea to take some time, today or tomorrow, just to go over what you did last year. And Nirkula and I did this yesterday. We sat for some hours and went over the calendar of things that we did last year. And we also... I put into my iCal on my computer what all the holy days were coming up, so I have an idea what's going up. It's a funny year because it's a leap year, you know. There's Purushottam Mas this year, which means that Kartik's going to be really late, and you better take a look. And go over, if you can, all the things that you did last year, how your practice was, where you went, who you talked to, what books you read. Make an honest assessment of how you did last year and write those things down. And then think about what you want to do next year. What goals do you want to make? What improvements can you make? Which habits do you want to form this year? You can form a new habit by just deciding ahead of time that you're going to make a new habit and then incrementally implementing it into your life, just a little bit at a time. It takes a nudge. You know what a nudge is? Is that a Yiddish word by any chance? It sounds like a Yiddish word, a nudge. But a nudge, just a little push, and you keep nudging something long enough, and it'll move into place. And so look in the places you need to nudge yourself, and nudge yourself into better sadhana, a better practice, and all that leads to a better life and to increased Krishna consciousness, happiness on all accounts. The way to have disaster in life is to repeat a few bad habits every day. And you may say that it's no big deal. We say apple a day keeps the doctor away, and you say the Hershey bar a day keeps the doctor away, and saying there's nothing wrong with it right now, but in the future it'll add up. You have to see what's going to be the effect over time. So the formula for success, and there is a formula for success just as there's a formula for good cakes and pies. There's a formula for success. And the formula for success is to find out those few habits that you will repeat every day that will bring you to a higher level, that will bring you to success, and then use discipline to implement those habits into your life. They don't have to be huge. You don't have to be great. You just have to find some good habits and implement them. And even if you start on the smallest scale that you can imagine, and that smallest increment I can imagine is a nudge. You start with a little nudge going towards the good habits. At least you should know what they are, what you want to do. And if you write them down and you endeavor for that, that's the formula for success. A few good habits repeated every day, and over a week, over a month, over 6 months, over a year, you'll notice the difference, and everyone else will too. And over a lifetime of someone who continues to gather together what they've done and review it and then revive it and improve it, that person has a successful life. And you can do it in any sphere of your life. When you make your goals, it's a good idea to look at different categories of your life. How are you doing in your communications with your spouse or with your family members? How would you like to improve those over time? How are you doing with your health? A lot of people fall apart when they start getting around, 40 or 50 or 60 years old. But there are some improvements that you can make. You started walking last year, and now you look like an Olympic athlete suddenly. He just decided he'd do it, and he started doing it. I heard about this, and I noticed you have a spring in your step, and it looks so nice. So you can change. You don't have to be the same as when you walked in here today. Everyone can make a difference, but it takes brain work. That's the human being's got the primary factor is the brain. It's not the legs, it's not the arms. but it's the brain. So if you sit down and you do a little brain work, and one good way to do it is if you take a legal pad and a pen and just sit there and just start brainstorming and write down all the things that you did last year, things that you want to improve. Think about it. Just think. And that's the power of the human brain, is you can think and then decide. And to make goals, there's a simple formula. Decide what you want and write it down. Decide what you want and write it down. And if you'll do that and consolidate your thoughts, then it's like the rudder. It'll send you in a certain direction in your life. And now's a good time to do it before the year starts, because before you know it, if you don't nail it down, then you'll look down and it's going to be April. And then you'll think, oh, well, I'll do it next year. But so take some time. You schedule some time today or tomorrow to sit down with yourself, with your spouse, with your family members, and write down some things. Just get them down, and you'll see you'll have a profound change in your life. I noticed Prabhupada kept a little book. He made goals all the time. If you look back through his old letters, he had all kinds of plans and goals for what today is the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. He wrote them down. He categorized things. He looked at it carefully. And I saw in his little book in Vrindavan that he used to carry. It was about this big. And now I carry one too. So whatever he does, I'm going to try to do. And you know, he wrote down, there were some little notations I could see in there, that, meet the Queen of England and this and that. And so you write them down, and then you'll start gravitating towards those things. So that's the great excitement of being a human being. Use your brain, make goals, nudge yourself towards success, and gradually you'll attain all things. In Krishna consciousness and every other aspect of your life where you need to have balance so you can keep doing your Krishna consciousness. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki jai. And we have one other big announcement this morning, and this is significant. Noting today that ISV again is on the vanguard. We just, by the hard work of several devotees at the BBT in Sweden, and also by Rakshit Prabhu's ongoing diligence in making sure that everything gets done properly, we now have the first copies of the ebook Bhagavad Gita available. So this is in every conceivable format on this, so all you have to do is put in your computer and any of your ebook formats like Kindle, Nook, what are some other ones? iPad. All of this significant formats for ebooks will be able to take this on board, and you'll have the complete Bhagavad Gita, so you can carry it with you anywhere on your little e-reader. And of course, you can download things like this from the internet, but we wanted to have something that we can distribute to people, because it's hard to hand over just a number or something like that. So now we have a disc, and this is the complete Bhagavad Gita with everything in it in an e-book format. And these normally would be about $15.95, but they're going for $10. And you can take them for friends and relatives, and it's a great gift idea. We have 1,000.
Yes, we have ordered 1,000 and received that much, about
980. Someone took a little bite out of it, huh?
There are some presentations to do, some samples to do.
I see. Okay. Well, here it is. Bhagavad Gita. Yes. Yes. Oh, the Sanskrit. Well, it has the Romanized Sanskrit. We'll have to look and see it has the Sanskrit. Do you need that? Yeah, yeah. Not sure. We'll check it out. Yeah. And any other announcements? Yes. Calendars.
Well, the situation on the calendars this year has been such, and this was really a sort of a remiss. We normally get informed by BBT that they arrive, but they got sold out early this year. I've had several communications with them, but they've already done by the time that the approach was made.
I think this is an opportunity for us to make our own calendar. So I think that if we could have a team that could put together a calendar, an ISV calendar, some of the pictures maybe from the year's activities. Can we do this? Can we just haul off and make our own calendar? We can pull probably all the dates from from the BBT calendar and just put them in. And we just need a volunteer to make a calendar. You have the software for it.
My aunt does it for us.
Jamuna has made a nice calendar in previous years. Are you volunteering your aunt? So let's have her phone number. We can call her right now. Let's see if we can't do an ISV calendar. I think this sellout thing from the BBT every year is a indication that we need to make our own calendar. I think it would be exciting. I saw in Toronto they made a calendar, and on it they get to advertise all the things about their own temple and things like that. So why don't we look into it? Can you look into and see how much it would be cost to produce it? All right, let's see. Oh, it depends how much they are, but we've done 500, 1,000 easily less than. Okay, 500. We'll take a 500. Yeah.
Yes, I was also thinking we can have a simple one-sheet of a calendar, which we can use when we go up into distribution like the first month.
Okay, check on a one sheet also with one picture of the deities or something like that. Yeah, with the whole year. Check like that too. We could have both. I think it's a growth industry, huh? Okay, you're getting the A team together here. And also, you might want to talk to Tukaram, who's the temple president of Laguna Beach Temple. I can give you his number, and he's in the calendar business, so he might know more about this. He makes a fortune selling calendars every year all over America in little outlets, and maybe he'll be able to tell us something. Let's get our own ISV calendar. That's a goal for the new year. What do you think? We made a goal. All right, and who cooked today? We saw Nilisha. There was a Nilisha sighting. Generally, there are Nilisha sightings. That means that some cooking is being done. And Srinivas. Okay, Nilisha, Srinivas. Good. So all glories to the cooks. Hare Krishna. Okay, cleaners afterwards, please stay and help Ramananda Saka Prabhu to clean the temple. It'll take you about half an hour or more. And any other announcements?
Next Wednesday, we are concluding our MSF of 32,000 books.
Yeah.
And so we'll be offering the results. And also urge devotees who have unreported scores to send them in so they can be included and counted, even though we have met our goal.
Send in your scores. There will be a grand offering this coming Wednesday night. Everyone, please come. And congratulations to everyone for completing our initial goals of 32,000 books for the marathon. Yesterday, there was quite a few books distributed. We were at a very extraordinary event, Sri Purushottam Bai's funeral, who was a great Vaishnav, recently passed away. I felt honored to be able to speak at that event, and we felt like we were getting, special mercy from him. He was married. He was married to his wife for 80 years, and he was a Vaishnav his whole life. He spent 30 years in England taking care of one temple and the deities there. As his grandson was telling me, rain, sleet, or snow, he'd always be there every day to take care of the deities. And up until his last days, he was always absorbed in chanting and hearing, and glorious life. And you can see it in all his family members too. His sons, his grandsons, everybody. It's an extraordinary family. At that event yesterday, the funeral, I noticed that on the way out, everyone got a book pack. And I thought, ISV does weddings and bar mitzvahs, funerals, everything. Wherever there's an opportunity, the books are going out. And people were very happy to get them.
Hare Krishna.
And there were over 100, 150 persons
Sorry, Paul.
Oh, I think Bhumi's here.
Oh, you can hear me, finally.
Haribo, Hare Krishna.
Okay. I just wondered if you had any questions.
What is the shloka that you learned this week, Mother Bhumi?
Oh, okay. No, I learned in the last few weeks, I learned the entire chapter shloka of the Bhagavad Gita, 10, 8 through 11.
Congratulations.
So,
Haribo.
and if Hamsapriya's there, is she there?
She's not. She's at home getting ready because we're having a meeting in about 15 minutes there.
Oh, okay. Because starting with New Year, we're going to be learning Shamrita. One verse every Ekadasi.
Are you on your cell phone?
I am. Are you getting an echo?
Well, you're breaking up.
Oh, okay.
It's hard to hear you.
I guess that's what I'm hearing happens with. I have a new phone, my iPhone. It doesn't work very well.
Oh, well, at least it cost a lot.
Well, actually, I got it free at the yeah, free. That's in quotation marks.
I see.
Anyhow, I'll do one verse from the chapter shlok, okay?
Please do.
Okay. It goes, Matchita matgita prana bodhayantas parasparam katyantas chamam nityam Krishyanti cha ramanti cha. The thoughts of my pure devotees dwell in me. Their lives are surrendered to my devotional service, and they derive great satisfaction and bliss in liking one another and conversing about.
Haribo! Thank you very much. Now our day is complete because we've heard the voice of Bhumi coming from a mysterious place. Thank you very much. And now we're going to have...
Yes, sorry about it being broken.
Oh, that's okay. And we expect such from technology these days. Now we're going to have prasadam. I have to run off because there's a meeting happening in a few minutes. Rakshit Prabhu also has to go. So we'll leave you to the prasadam prayers and to prasadam. Will be served in just a few minutes here. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripasnamevacha patitanam bhavnebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Hare Krishna.